snowshoe Siamese cat lazing by the front door as Stewart and I head out to show you about the deep snow walls that he has been building outside. Poor Sapphire, all warm and cozy in the house, while Stewart and I are outside freezing ourselves off.
Hi everybody, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Swerdlow.
And we have a little video to show you of my somewhat pathetic snow walls.
Well, before we do that, can I show what I have?
Oh, show them what you have.
I have Heather's hands. Do you see that?
Why are they called Heather's hands?
Because they're made by Heather. And you put your hands in here and you can wear them outside while you're driving. If your office is cold like ours is.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get her to put some archetypes on here for me. I think they are so cool. And I think she's going to be selling them soon. So if you're interested, let us know. Heather's hands.
Anyway.
Back to the snow wall.
Anyway, as you know, last winter we had like 6 meters of snow for the whole season. And here it is, what is it, the 10th of January. And we've only had about 1 meter of snow so far this season, but we have 3 more months to go, so I'm sure we'll make up for it. But I wanted to show you my snow wall so far, which is about up to my waist.
How tall was it last year? Wasn't it like here?
No, last year was over my head, but that was ready by February. But I want to show them what you did.
Uh-oh.
So come over with me, people.
Can we go back and talk about Heather's hands?
No. This is the damage that Janet did with her vehicle backing out of the garage today. Fortunately, I have snow wall insurance, so I'm hoping that in the next couple of days they will come and repair my snow wall. But perhaps we're supposed to have more snow tomorrow night and the next day, so I might be able to fix it myself. But thanks a lot, Janet, for damaging my snow wall. Well, that was really considerate of you.
I've ordered more snow so that you can repair it easily.
But for now, this is my favorite part of my snow wall on this part of the driveway. As you can see, it's about up to my rib cage. So, and it's only January 10. And by the way, the temperature is minus 30 Celsius.
That's why I need Heather's hands.
Yeah, but you need, those are hobo gloves, and you need to cover your whole hands. That's why I stick mine in my pocket.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you were going to stick them somewhere else.
Yes, but not on camera. We better go inside and do the podcast.
And warm up, but I've got Heather's hands.
It's pretty freaking cold out here.
All right, let's go.
Hi, everybody. We're back inside.
Yeah, and I still have Heather's hands, and I'm nice and warm. My new thing, I
just
can't
stuck
help
my hands
it.
in my pocket.
You did?
Yes, and elsewhere, and other places.
Is that right? You have do you have deep pockets?
They're they're ripped at the bottom.
That's terrible.
Anyway, thank you. Well, you asked.
No, I didn't. I just
wanted to know. It was awful shoveling this morning at, minus 100.
I just thought what else she could make, but I better not say it on television.
Oh, that is a great idea. People think you're so conservative. You're really not.
No, I meant for your nose.
Oh.
A nose warmer.
Oh. Well, for some protrusion. Anyway.
That would be in royal blue?
Mm-hmm. Really?
Yeah, really.
I think mine might be red.
That's terrible.
Why? Red is a color. I thought there was something in your hair, but it's just
your hands.
Yeah.
Your hands are in my hair.
Okay, people are getting annoyed. Let's go.
People or you?
Yes.
You're the one talking.
Anyway, people, it's freaking cold here. And I would recommend you look at my news. Actually, it's the front page. It's not a private blog. So if you go to the expansions.com front page, you will see pictures of St. Joseph this week, the lighthouse, the railroad station, the main street. We actually made it to international news. Yeah,
United Kingdom News, thedailymail.com, so check it out. And also, I think we both put it on our Facebook pages as well, and on the Expansions fan page. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, you should take a look at what St. Joseph looks like these days.
That's pretty amazing. It's perfect for our class because we're going into our emotional side, the frozen emotions, and here we are, Mother Nature helping us.
It's frozen, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway. To the news.
To the news.
And unfortunately, it's not happy news.
It's not?
To begin with. No.
Sorry.
And this is, by the way, the news podcast for the second week of January 2015.
Yep.
And, you've heard the unhappy story, the horrible so-called terrorist attacks in Paris this week. There were 3 of them.
3 terrorist attacks?
Yes,
wow.
there were 3. And the 2 brothers that attacked the cartoonist office have been martyred because they wanted to be, and they let them be. Plus there was the attack at the kosher, I think it's a deli or butcher store, whatever it was there. Which, by the way, that doesn't mean it's Jewish, because Muslims also eat kosher food.
Yeah, but they
Jews and Muslims have the same food.
Yes, the Muslims call it halal.
Halal, and Jews call it kosher, but they shop at the same place.
Correct.
And in fact, at least one of the hostages that were killed was from Tunisia. Mm. So, and one of the policemen that was shot was Muslim. Anyway, who are these brothers that were martyred in the woods outside of Paris? Well, according to the news, and I'm quoting, they were dope-smoking, rapping loser brothers. Doesn't sound like Muslims to me.
It doesn't sound like people that with enough oomph to get out and do something like this.
But wait a minute. And the police knew about their terror links for 10 years.
Oh my.
And they were on the U.S. no-fly list. So why were they walking around? Now, it says the pair lived a life of failure and petty crime before being trained, I should say programmed as killers. One of the brothers, named Sharif, worked as a pizza delivery driver and used cash to buy pot. He was featured on French TV in 2005 as a rapper. Doesn't sound like a fundamentalist Muslim to me. But, they were radicalized by a Paris imam who gave them a sense of importance. Now, they were orphaned at a young age, and they drifted into a life of smoking drugs, petty offending, and rap music. They were branded scrawny pipsqueak and apprentice losers, and they were on the French Security Service's radar for a decade and were described as a ticking time bomb. So, why were they walking around? And if the police knew about them, the authorities knew about them,
it doesn't make sense, does it?
No, because they were programmed to do something that what the authorities wanted them to do. Their parents were Algerian born and died while they were still very young, although it doesn't say how they died or why they died. Sharif, who was the younger of them, he's 32, he grew up in a children's home in Brittany, which is the northwest part of France, before returning to live in Paris. Now, children's home, maybe that's where he was programmed.
No, absolutely.
He described himself as an occasional Muslim.
Usually kids that are orphaned that young, they only have the religion of, if they're taught anything, in the orphanage.
He smoked cannabis, he drank, dealt drugs, chased women, and got a job as a pizza deliveryman. That sounds like a fundamentalist to me. He had a minor criminal record and was said to be more interested in pretty girls than the mosque.
Well, that doesn't sound like somebody who would be plotting such a major crime.
Exactly. Now, it says here the young would-be jihadists held strong convictions, but their preparations for going to war in the West were laughable and amateurish. How did they prepare themselves? By jogging around the park a few times to get fit. And were given one lesson in how to use a Kalashnikov using sketches of the right. Now, first of all, that can't be true.
It's like the people who...
I saw the video where they shot the police. That was not from... He didn't learn that from a video. Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
trained.
It's like the people who they said drove or flew those big planes into 9/11 towers. They supposedly trained on these little tiny planes down in Florida. No, it's just ridiculous. And then they leave a book that says, well, how to fly a 767. Right, and that's what I'm saying. And now this guy learned from a book how to shoot a rifle. That does not happen.
And of course, their driver's license happened to be left in the car. Now you can see them picking up all the stuff around them, and but they leave their driver's license. Brilliant.
None of it makes sense.
It's all a setup, people. Please. They became a jihadist, and we're going to catch up in 2005 on your birthday, January 25. What's the connection there, Missy? They were going to fly to Syria, and you know what they were going to do in Syria? It says here they were going to be met in Damascus by a 13-year-old boy who had helped them buy Kalashnikov for 200 euros and then arranged it. A 13-year-old was going to sell them a gun and get them to Syria. Or Iraq, actually. Really?
That's just ridiculous.
No. But the French police, when they stopped drinking the red wine,
I guess,
they caught them before they were going to fly out. But they were also told that religious texts prove the benefits of suicide attacks, saying it's written in the text that it's good to die as a martyr. I'm going to find out about that because we have a Muslim person coming this week and we're going to find out about that.
But the thing is, if they were fundamentalist Muslim, they didn't believe in all the things that they claim these kids are doing.
Apparently not. Now, they had a lawyer named Vincent Olivier who described them as scrawny pipsqueaks. Would you like your lawyer to describe you as a scrawny pipsqueak?
I guess they're dead now.
And an apprentice loser. And that the meetings in jail, that they had been in jail with the radical preachers, really changed them. Now, here's something.
Well, maybe the preacher was a mind control person.
Well, anything in prison is mind control. The French Prime Minister, Manuel Valls, told French radio that both brothers were known to intelligence services and were probably being followed before they attacked the Charlie Hebdo office. Okay, you're watching them go to and you let them do it.
And they must have seen them load up the ammunition.
So basically, the French Prime Minister is saying, yeah, we knew who they were, we knew what they were doing, and we watched as they did it, and it didn't stop them. Hello? Now, there was a third suspect, named by the French officials. They really need to stop drinking, which he turned himself in. He was 18 years old, named Mourad Hamid. He was believed to be Sharif's brother-in-law, and he gave himself up when he saw his name on social media.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it's probably safer
and he was supposedly the getaway driver, but in the video, he's not in the video. But several of his school friends have claimed he was in class with them at the time of the attack, so he's being a patsy.
Yeah. Well, not that, if the schoolmates saw him at class, he had to have been a teacher, as well, that would say he was there.
Yes. So here's my thing. If these guys were known to the French authorities for 10 years and were on the no-fly list, how could they be getting away?
Well, it says they were being watched at the time.
I'm going to say it, and you know me, I'm not politically correct. The French and the Illuminati are behind all of this. And the French, being under the control of the Rothschilds, the same thing.
And remember what the two ages of the two brothers we talked about?
32 and 34, so a 6'6".
Yeah.
There's another 6 missing.
Plus, we also talked about Paris and
Paris.
par
Yes.
Very
good.
Notes?
Please say it.
Well, Paris is par ISIS. So here we have, and when we were in Paris, there was more Egyptian stuff in Paris and in France, actually, than there was in Egypt.
Correct.
So something is going on here that's obviously tied together, some kind of major ritual, and I agree with you. If there's two sixes, there's got to be another 6.
Now, in the other major story in Paris, the attack on the kosher shop that I mentioned before, that were 4 hostages or patrons of the store killed. The news said that the black gunman, who was the terrorist there, was with his wife, I think it was his wife or girlfriend, and that she escaped with the hostages as, they're using him as a cover as they fled. But now it says that she actually has made her way to Turkey and Syria and left France on January 1st before the attack. So my question then is, who was this woman with the attacker? Was that his handler? And was she working for the French? And then they let her get out.
Well, we knew people who were under attacks. Can't think of the name of it, but when she was in the theater, remember, and she went up to the people who were holding them hostage, and she says, "You know who I am?" And they let her go.
Oh, the person I know? Yeah, I don't want to talk about that.
No, I don't talk about it, but I'm just saying that those things...
That was in Russia.
Yes, but those things happen. So that's a well-known fact, at least from our inside sources,
yes. Absolutely.
that they will let the people go.
And I know people who've had that, yes, personally.
Yes.
Now another story. Speaking of handlers.
Yes.
Angelina Jolie. You love her, don't you?
Well, I watch her,
You
as
want
I
to get
said.
those collagen injections so you can have lips like her. Yeah. Well, she met with Pope Francis at a private audience at the Vatican. And you know why?
She gave him lip injections.
Ooh, maybe she gave him more than that.
Probably.
Well, but you know what?
What?
Is because she was showing her movie Unbroken, which I want to get to that, but before I even get to that, first of all, why was that shown in the Vatican? Really? Now, the other thing was her husband, Brad Pitt, was supposed to be at the meeting, but he was missing. Now, you may have seen a week or so ago, maybe more, there was this picture, it was on also the UK news, that showed them fighting on a terrace, Angelina and Brad. They were fighting.
I didn't see that.
They were fighting.
Physically or just yelling?
Well, they were yelling at each other, you know. So I think there's something going on there, because why would he miss the meeting with the Pope?
Well, the thing is, I told you before, the marriage is a sham. And it's,
Well,
it's a put-together family because they want to imprint the people, the masses, for certain reasons.
It absolutely,
yes.
It's all a show, all the adopted children that don't even take care of them.
No, it's
you know, I mean, I think it was a hotel in London, they were there with their children, and the staff said the children were wild, running in the hallways, breaking things, and Angelina and Brad were nowhere to be found. No one was watching the kids.
It's only for show.
Aren't they loving parents?
No, they're it's for
It's the
show.
show. It's a big crap show. Anyway, the movie stars British actor Jack O'Connell. It's a story of how someone survived in Iraq for 2 months and later ended up as a prisoner of war in Japan of the Japanese. And the Japanese are very upset about this movie. They said it puts Japan in a very bad light, and they actually want Angelina banned from Japan.
Really? That's interesting.
Banned from Japan. You can't make that up, people. Now here's something interesting. According to U.S. Weekly, Angelina's head of security flew out to Italy earlier to do a security check ahead of the family's visit. Why was she checking out the Vatican?
Well, the thing is, the Vatican has their own security force.
No, why would they have to check out the security for the family at the Vatican?
That's what I'm saying.
Something
because
is wrong with that story.
The Vatican is already highly secured.
Unless it isn't.
Well,
you know, I've just finished reading a book called Exo Vaticana, which talks about the Vatican's plan for a reptilian Jesus coming.
really? That sounds interesting.
A reptilian Jesus. I'll be talking about that at our conference class this week. Anyway, here's what also was quite disturbing. It said that Angelina and Brad admire the Pope. Well, now they've lost even more points with me.
I mean, they never had any points with me.
Yeah, and they like the Pope's message. Really? And it says here that her meeting with the Pope comes just 3 months after she received an honorary damehood from Queen Elizabeth II.
So apparently she must be fulfilling the New World Agenda quite
so
well.
she, just like U2, the band, are pure Illuminati servants.
Well, most public icons are, if not
Well,
100%
she's like
of them are.
up the wazoo.
Well, maybe they have a hierarchy of servants for the Illuminati, and she's on one of the top
Maybe if I got
elements.
my lips injected, I could be a servant.
Well, you have to be married to somebody you don't love, and you have to collect children of all races, and then
We could do
ignore
that.
them.
We could do that.
I don't want to do that.
No. What if we just adopt pets?
We have adopted every pet in the universe.
No, that's true, we have.
You have.
Well, you're here too. Anyway, moving on. Another story. Guess what? They found 2,600-year-old shipwreck that might prove the existence of Atlantis.
Wow.
Now, why? Because the shipwreck includes 39 ingots of orichalcum. Okay, so you're saying, what the heck is orichalcum?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Well, it's a mythical metal that Plato claimed was from Atlantis.
Oh.
And it's an alloy of copper, zinc, lead, a nickel. Maybe you could do a cooking.
Yeah, sure,
with all of that in there.
So in other words, they found ingots made of this, but before they said it was mythical.
Well, they said that this mythical metal, which was said by the ancient Greeks to be found in the lost, they said city of Atlantis, but it was a continent. It was recovered from the ship. And there's a professor, Sebastiano Tusa, who's an archaeologist at the office of the superintendent of the sea in Sicily. I never knew that existed.
Superintendent of the sea in Sicily. Say that fast 10 times.
I can't. But because my lips are frozen from
your lip injections?
Cold. Yes. No, from being out in the -30. Anyway, he said the discovery is unique and exceptional because it is the first time that we find orichalcum ingots. And he said nothing similar has ever been found. So that's very significant.
I would think so.
Now, the legend of Atlantis comes from the work of the Greek philosopher Plato, who describes how the great nation was submerged beneath the Atlantic Ocean after falling out of favor with the gods. That's not exactly correct. Edgar Casey writes about this. People should write. And you know what? The real hard stuff comes from, not because of my history, but Russian research in the Atlantic Ocean, which proved sediment from the Atlantic Ocean underneath near the Canary Islands were actually beach sand that had been above the ocean, tens of thousands of years. So that all. Now Plato mentions orichalcum in the Critias dialogue and describes Atlantis as flashing with the red light of metal. But here's where it gets interesting.
More interesting.
Yes, because orichalcum was highly prized and second only in value to gold.
My goodness.
And it was mined in the mythical island, but you know what else? Where else? Because the major component was copper. Ingots were copper came from.
Oh, maybe Michigan, huh?
Michigan copper mines. Yes. Now, it is thought that orichalcum was made through a process called cementation, which reacts zinc ore with charcoal and copper in a crucible. And a crucible is like a hot oven.
Well, that's a fascinating story.
I think so. Now, back now to our area across the lake. A Chicago man arrived home from work this past week to discover 3 bowling ball-sized chunks of ice in his living room and a freaked out cat. Now, this man is named John O'Connors, who's an information technology specialist and an occasional lounge crooner. I'm not impressed with that. He said that the ice hit his building so hard with such velocity that it shattered the ceiling beams. There was ice everywhere. He could see through the sky, the hole in his ceiling to the sky. He found a chunk of ice in his bedroom 15 to 20 feet away from the crash's epicenter. And he said he was in too much shock to even notice the frigid Arctic wind whipping through the hole, because we have frigid Arctic wind here. Yes. Now, scientists said that he might have been the victim of a mega-cryometeor. Mega-cryometeor.
10 times fast.
No. Describes a large block of ice that seemingly falls out of the clear blue sky. It just comes from that. It just appears. Yeah, like me. Now, according to this article, apparently, these ice chunks have been reported falling from the sky all over the world recently. We better check our ceiling there. So why would this happen? Why would ice suddenly fall from the sky, clear blue sky? I'll tell you why. Now, you know people. I have said that an ice age is already begun. Now, in the onset of an ice age, cold air sinks, it's heavy, and it envelops the atmosphere and clashes with the warm, humid air that comes up from the equator area, and where this meets in the atmosphere, creates ice, gets heavy, and it falls. Hello? They're spending millions of dollars to find this out. I'm telling you for nothing. You can, throw me a 5 or 10 million.
That works.
Yeah.
Well, if all of our million viewers threw us a 5 or 10,
Really,
of whatever
really?
currency their country
No, seriously.
we would be good. It would be, everything would work.
I'll take 5 million. I'll take 5.
All right. Are you done?
You mean like with my life?
No.
But just
with
for
the
now?
moment.
Oh, for the moment. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I also have a weather story.
You do?
Mine is about Winter Storm Gorgon.
We just had that.
Yes. But the interesting thing is I have never heard winter storms named before.
No, they have been.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Well, that's my news. For years?
You know, get with it, Missy.
Well, then that just ruins my whole story.
Well, sorry.
Because I wondered what was named before the Gorgon one.
No, they never used to name them. Used to be hurricanes were named after females.
Yeah.
And then they decided, well, let's name winter storms after men.
Gorgon's a man's name?
Well, but then they said,
It's named by Charles
listen
Gorgon.
to, will you let me finish?
Sounds like a dragon.
And then they said, you know, it's unfair sexually, so now they mix winter and summer storms with male and female names.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding you.
Wow, well, anyway, I wanted to know what the other names were, but I had never heard of that before.
No, I've heard.
All right, how about, do you know what a clipper is?
Of course I know what a clipper is.
What is it?
It's like an Alberta clipper. It's a storm that comes out of Canada, and then it comes over here in the Great Lakes and causes snow and wind. And
Okay, well, no, it's defining that as disturbances in the jet streams that can sometimes spin up massive low-pressure systems. So that's a clipper.
Yeah.
If it comes over Alberta, that
It's
makes
an
it an
Alberta
Alberta
clipper.
clipper. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
and if it comes from Manitoba, it's called a Manitoba Mauler.
seriously?
Seriously.
Oh, so these are names I didn't know, so I thought that was interesting. All right, then moving on to my next story. Now, this is going to be interesting to some people because I have a lot of poop stories.
Oh, what a surprise.
Well, so it's funny because somebody was criticizing me quite highly on the internet, and they said, I'm not going to tell you who.
Was it someone in my family?
I don't know who it was, but anyway, they said that I am obsessed with poop.
Well, you are. It's true.
But it's very
Okay, I wrote it.
It's very interesting. And I want to tell you what I found out because I have a lot of stories about poop. The first is on January 6th that there was a smell all through the city of Seattle that smelled like poop.
So, what else is new in Seattle?
No, the entire city. And so it got everybody concerned about it. So some people said that it was actually the stink of sulfur being released from the ground.
I believe that.
Which was a precursor to earthquakes.
Volcanic eruption.
So Johnny Berg, a meteorologist at the Seattle chapter of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, said, we don't know why it's happening either. We've been trying to figure it out all morning.
Right.
We read the reports too.
Let me translate. We're trying to figure a good cover story.
Well, then he said they couldn't figure it out.
Right.
Then they checked with University of Washington meteorologist Cliff Mass, who said that it was an inversion above Seattle.
You know, what if his name was Chris? Chris Mass.
Yeah, maybe it was and he changed it.
Could be.
Anyway, he said the cold layer of fog is on top and the winds were weak, so it held all the pollutants down, and that's what made the entire city of Seattle smell.
Okay, wait a second. Now, you lived in Seattle during your childhood.
And it's even bigger now.
Yeah. Did that ever happen?
No, but they said the entire city smelled like a cesspool. So I'm kind of going with the first one on the sulfur smell.
I agree.
But let's see what happens.
Because if there was an inversion like that, it would be over the northwest, not just one little part of the city.
And it would happen more than once. It's not just a one-time occurrence.
Correct.
So I thought that was interesting. Then the next poop story is about Bill Gates. It starts with bottoms up, and it says the billionaire activist Bill Gates drank a cup of water that was once human poop and talked about how delicious it was.
Well, you met him, didn't you?
Yes, but it's many years ago. So anyway, he says, across the globe, 1 billion people still defecate in the open, an issue that can lead to a number of debilitating conditions, including diarrheal disease,
Why, just from pooping in the open?
Well, because there's so much feces and stuff that breeds in poop. So anyway, areas without...
I always poop in an enclosed area.
Yeah, well, areas with latrines but no modern sewage systems are also at high risk. So the contaminated feces end up in the water supply. And because they said it's complicated and expensive to introduce Western toilets, they are going with this Seattle engineering firm, again Seattle, that burns human waste to produce electricity and water.
Oh, so maybe that's what smelled.
No, I don't know. But anyway, apparently They're working on a processor that wouldn't just keep human waste out of the drinking water, would actually turn waste into a commodity with real value in the marketplace. That's what Gates says.
You know, they do that in Singapore. When I was
waste?
Because I used to work in Singapore every year, and all the water in Singapore is recycled wastewater.
Ugh, that's disgusting.
That's why I don't drink it.
Well, they're making
That's why I'm in Singapore. I only drink alcohol.
That's not allowed in Singapore, is it?
What?
Alcohol.
Of course it. Are you crazy?
I thought it was very strict there.
They'd commit suicide if they didn't let
Like
that.
you're not supposed to show the bottom.
No, you
of your-
can't spit or chew gum, but you can drink.
Can you wear shorts?
I did.
Was it Thailand you can't wear shorts?
I did there too.
You did?
You just can't wear a tank top.
Oh, was that it? I wasn't sure. All right, so I thought that was interesting. Then, get this one. When Pope Francis visits the Philippines next week,
He's going next week.
that's what it says. It says the Manila traffic enforcers are going to be wearing adult diapers.
Because...
Apparently, 2,000 traffic enforcers will be on duty during January 15th through the 19th during the visit. They will be required to wear adult diapers.
Why?
Because people are going to have to wait all these hours to see the Pope. And so I guess the people won't have to leave their posts. But this is being ordered by the authority chairman.
You must wear diapers.
Metropolitan Manila Development Authority chairman. He's also encouraging people who will wait for hours to see the Pope to wear diapers. And listen to this. He says the prospect of wearing adult diapers was, quote, well received by his men.
Maybe they have sexual issues.
Then he said it's going to be tested on Friday by 800 traffic enforcers who are going to work shifts during the nearly 24-hour annual procession of the Black Nazarene. The Black Nazarene procession attracts hundreds of thousands of barefoot, mostly male, Filipino Roman Catholics who parade a centuries-old statue, a black statue of Jesus Christ. I wonder if he's related to the Black Madonna, which devotees believe possess mystical powers. And so this Development Authority chairman says that there won't be enough portable toilets for the millions of people that are expected to see Pope Francis that particular week. So he says, again, that you should wear the adult diapers, and he says priests, nuns, seminarians, and the elderly should also consider wearing diapers.
So there's going to be a lot of poop around the Pope?
But my point is this. You know, they have to have a way to bring people down. Now, doesn't this put you back into your child mentality, into baby mentality, and somebody who has to be told what to do? If I said to you, Stewart, you know, we're going to be gone for 3 days, you have to wear an adult diaper.
Well,
do you remember where we heard this the first time? Do you remember?
Last week.
No. Do you remember the woman who was an astronaut and she put on her adult diaper and drove?
She went from Houston to Florida.
Yeah, and
because she was going to kill her lover's girlfriend.
That was the first time I heard. Now they're requiring it, and he's saying people don't mind. I would mind. And then asked if he will wear one. He said, I will try, but in my case...
Who's going to try?
The authority chairman who's ordering this for everybody else.
You know what I want to know?
What?
Is the Pope going to wear a diaper?
Maybe he does, but I just thought this was the most bizarre story.
That'll be Pope poop.
So then listen to this. Now the next thing is we know with, what's her name, Miley Cyrus and all this stuff. Now they're gone from the fronts of people and the backs of people and now to the bottoms of people. So now people's bottoms are all over the place. And we have seen this Miss Bum Bum contest in Brazil.
Stupid.
Well, apparently the runner-up got severely infected from all the implants that she had.
And her butt?
Yes, and in fact...
she had butt plants?
They all did. That's what made them so big. She had cosmetic gels that rotted her muscles, and her wounds got infected. And so she
she deserved it.
She had to have surgery. They took out the implants, and then she has these gaping wounds. They showed it on this article. There's like holes in her legs and her bottom.
Can you explain to me why anyone, man or woman, would want to have a bubble butt?
Well, this is the new thing.
I have no butt. My butt's flat.
Well, this is the new thing because, like I said, they're trying to sexualize and animalize people versus elevate them. Anyway, the pictures were horrible, what she's gone through, this woman. And what's interesting, it says that Brazil has overtaken the U.S. to become the most prolific plastic surgery in the nation. And I reported on Brazil in this. oh yeah, the most prolific plastic surgery nation. That's what I meant to say. And I've reported on them before. Apparently, they have had an increase of 1.5 million procedures, an increase of 600,000 in just 2 years. Apparently, these include, listen to this, 226,000 breast enlargement, 64,000 buttock augmentations, a fifth of all those in the world. They have more than 5,000 plastic surgeons in Brazil who perform 78,000 facelifts, 77,000 nose jobs, 219 penis enlargements.
You're kidding.
No.
See,
no.
I don't need any of that.
No, you're perfect.
I am.
Anyway,
everything I have is enlarged.
This Miss Bum Bum contestant Jessica Lopez, who went with this lady who got infected, said that we would do the plastic surgeon as if we were going shopping. Sometimes we would agree to do some procedure together. We were not afraid. We were slaves to beauty.
That's why they have Brazil nuts.
Yeah, but you want to remember what I've told you is, again, going back to the uglies and the pretties, where at some point they're going to try and use all these surgeries on people to make them all look basically the same. And I do believe that is on the way. And I think Brazil is going to be a leading nation, and I think they're doing research.
But you know, ultimately, they won't even need to do that because they will have genetic surgeries or genetic manipulations where people will just be the same anyway. They won't need surgery.
Well, I agree, but I think this is a precursor to that and is leading as part of their research. You know, every country is doing something to go toward that New World agenda. So to me, that's what part of Brazil's, unfortunately, their function is. And my last story is no longer about poops and bottoms.
Good.
It's about, again, division of people. Now this I thought one was interesting. If there was another story, I wished I would have taken it down, but I didn't. It was about some example that was used in a math class about policemen and guns. This one is about a museum in, the Columbus Museum of Art.
It's in Ohio.
In Ohio. Apparently, there was a Lego layout of some kind, and a patron who happened to be a fireman was walking through with his daughter, and he found a Lego figure pointing a gun at a model police station. And so he couldn't believe it, and he wrote to the museum. I don't know why he didn't just talk to them, but he said he wrote to them. And the museum claims that neither they nor the people who designed the layout had done that.
It just happened by the elves.
Well, they claim that there's a nearby area where visitors can make their own Lego sculptures, and perhaps somebody put it there. But you know, again, you know how it is in museums, they watch you like hawks. You just can't go and do such things.
Because I've tried to steal things from the Egyptian museum in Chicago, and they caught me.
I don't think so, and that's not even funny. Anyway, the interesting thing is this. Because of this particular article, there's all this imprinting, because they show the Lego figure, which that has to do, again, in my opinion, imprinting the public. It's not real, it's cartoonish, and cartoons are used for the mind control and programming. So the cartoonish policeman, which, you know, pointing this, or a man pointing this gun at the police, this goes back again to dividing the police from the people. So again, you know, it's divide and conquer. So I advise people to ignore a lot of this division that they're trying to implant. You know, and the majority of police officers are like everybody else. They're good people out there trying to do their jobs. But they're trying to turn us against them. And they're succeeding, unfortunately, from what the media would have you believe. But I do believe the majority of, at least Americans here, want to see the police as their friends and protectors, not as somebody that they're against.
And I have to say, you know, here in Michigan, at least our part of Michigan, the police are very nice and very friendly.
Yeah, they're very kind.
And like the way they used to be, you know, dozens of years ago.
Yeah. And I think the way most of them are throughout the country, or they want to be. So with that said, that's my last story, but we should tell them about all our happenings. And I don't know how far out. Should we go with the furthest out?
Let's go to like 2020.
Okay, well, should I start with 2016 and backtrack?
All right.
Okay, because we're planning, because there's so many things. 2015 is going to be a fabulous year.
Yeah, every year I say I'm not going anywhere. It's like I don't know when I'm going to be home.
Well, right now, these are the tentative plans that are in process. So keep watching our website, 2016. We're planning another tour to Bosnia.
I love Bosnia.
We love Bosnia, and we are inviting Wisconsin researcher Mary Sutherland along with us, because she has found pyramids under the lake.
Yes, and many things.
And many things. So, and as
and she did very good research.
Yes. And so as a precursor to the Bosnia 2016, in our October Fall Conference of this year, 2015, Mary Sutherland's going to be one of our guest speakers. She has a lot of fascinating books she'll be bringing with her, as well as Dr. Samir Osmanagic, who spoke with our group a few years ago. He will also be presenting at our conference in October 2015. And you and I will be bringing forward our research. So October 2015, our annual conference is going to be amazing.
It's going to be a doozy one.
August, we're working on putting together a radionics workshop for you, which is fascinating.
And there's possibility of visiting the tomb of Emmanuel in India.
We've talked about that in the summer of 2015.
Yeah, we said we have to talk more about that. Yeah, we've been asked to do that.
Yeah, so we have lots of tentative things. So I'm throwing it out there because it's fascinating work. Then we're coming back to April.
Yes.
April, we have our event, which is Addicted to Addictions. Get Hooked on Health Instead. Then, prior to that, you have your Free Your Mind Conference.
In Bucks County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, and watch the website for information on that. Use expansions as your coupon code. Get $20 off your ticket. And then we have...
March, I'll be in a lot of places in March. In March, I'll be in Wrocław, Poland, for my second seminar there. I'll then be going to Vienna and then to Taiwan, where I will hopefully be meeting the spiritual tour from Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe the princess will come.
Maybe.
She wants me so bad.
And what about the Czech Republic?
Yes, that's February. In February I'll be in Prague.
Right.
To film a movie.
Right. And we have coming up also a new series of webinars.
That's the end of January.
Well, we start with March. March is going to be explaining the human-animal mind, which most people don't recognize what runs the body versus what runs the higher self. And the animal mind is what the global handlers are basically enslaving, which therefore is not allowing the spiritual part of you to express like it should/could be expressing. Then in February, I'm going to be doing a 3-day group fast. And before that, I'm going to be doing a webinar. We'll do it together, fasting and detox. So it's a very simple...
Well, I won't be here.
You will for the first class.
I will?
Yes.
I'm not fasting.
I know you're not fasting.
I'm going slow.
Yeah, that's
you.
I'm not going fast. You're too slow for me. So we have lots of interesting health and healing things in the mix. And in January, our next webinar coming up right around the corner. Good. I'm not sure if it's ready to sign up, but we're working on getting that on the website right now. Is on cult and abusive relationship recovery. And again, all this ties into the mind control things. It ties into the mind patterns that kind of slowly but slowly ensnare you so that you don't know who you are and what you want, and basically encourages you to give up your power. Nobody takes it from you, but to give up your personal power to other people, places, and things. So that's going to be a fascinating one. And then, of course, we're going to start right around the corner this week is our January class, our one time a year. If you're not here, I'm really sorry you're missing it. That's going to happen again in January 2016. So
if the world doesn't come to an end,
then put that on your calendar if you want to come, because one thing I've learned is we don't want to say, I wish I did this or I wish I did that, because sometimes it's too late. So,
oh, and did I mention about going on the front page and seeing St. Joseph this week?
You did.
Yeah, so take a look
at that.
That's
pretty cool.
You're going to be missing it if you're not here.
Yeah. So anyway, there's so much in 2015 and heading into 2016.
Also good news.
More good news.
Is I just spoke to the producer yesterday.
That's right.
The Montauk movie, Montauk Chronicles, is out.
Yes.
The world premiere is January 17th in New York City. I'm not able to make it because of the class here, but I will be appearing on Skype.
That's what I hear. And I guess people from the audience there are actually going to be able to ask you questions via your Skype presentation.
Yes, and the good thing is that I don't have to worry about them throwing anything because I'm on Skype, so they can't get me.
No, that's true.
Yeah. So that'll be, and then I'll be doing probably premieres in other countries.
Yeah, so we
after that, like I did in South Africa and Bangkok and all.
But this is a completely different movie from the first movie.
Yeah, it's a whole new movie.
Yeah, Christopher really did some amazing things.
So between this one and the last one and what I'm doing in Czech Republic, I'm obviously becoming a major motion picture
You're gonna get your Academy Award yet, I guess.
You know, and so people, you know, you better come now because I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to stay with you little peons.
You might not even talk to me.
I don't now.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah. So anyway,
get
please.
me while you can.
Yeah.
You
please go on and like our Facebook fan pages and invite your friends to do. Again, we want to keep raising our, what do you call it? Our Google rating.
Yeah.
And the thing that puzzles me.
I like to raise my Google.
The thing that puzzled me is we had 3,333 likes, and then when I went on the next day, it was down to like 3,322. What
because
happened to those 11
you probably
people?
said something that they didn't like.
But what happened to them? 11 people.
Maybe they got eaten by aliens.
That's what I think.
That's
I
what
think
I
they
think
got
too.
abducted.
I think there's aliens that eat them.
Yes, that's what happened. So anyway, please, I want to see how fast we can get up to like
a billion.
Yeah. So invite your Facebook friends, please.
If I get everybody in China, that's like 1.4 billion.
Do you think Facebook would go up that high?
We'll find out.
Sounds good.
Because guess what? I'm going to be in China in March.
All right, let's do it. Anyway,
so,
and
I'm going to be in Russia too, by the way. You don't even know that.
A lot of things I don't know.
I haven't told you.
I don't want to know. And don't forget, Heather's Hands, watch the website.
And these are mine, naked.
Yeah.
It's naked and afraid. My hand is naked and afraid.
It should be afraid of Heather's hands.
No, it's afraid of the freaking
No,
cold
it's
out
afraid of
there.
Heather's
With
hands.
no, it goes right through my glove.
Because
I got frostbite
the
this
things
morning.
that you're saying, this hand will come and get you.
You know what it's like to shovel in the dark in minus 40?
Tell us.
It's very bad.
Oh, we're so upset.
I think I lost a couple of my testicles out there. Luckily, I have 4. Anyway.
So what did your grandmother used to say?
What did she say?
Testicles and spectacles.
No. My son, my oldest son says whenever he leaves the house, make sure he got everything. Testicles, spectacles, wallet, and keys.
Your oldest son said that?
Yeah.
I thought it was your grandmother.
She didn't have testicles. What's with you?
Yeah, but I thought she still said
Okay,
that.
you need to stop drinking.
I thought she still said that.
No, she never even knew that. She doesn't speak English.
She didn't speak.
She didn't. Whatever. See, I speak like her.
Alrighty.
Anyway,
I've had enough.
I've had enough too.
Yeah, I think it's time to go.
I need a drink now.
I'm going to go drink my yerba mate tea.
Yeah, I'm going to have some vodka. Till next time, people. Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Swerdlow.
For expansions.com, stay tuned till next week. Bye.
Bye.